You're listening to Dots, Lines, and Destinations, a travel podcast with hosts Stephen Seagraves, Foz Mahmood, and Seth Miller. Hello, and welcome to episode 597 of Dots, Lines, and Destinations. I'm Stephen Seagraves, joined today by Foz Mahmood, Seth Miller, and special guest Jonathan Gooda, station manager of Newark Liberty International Airport. Thanks for coming on the show, John.
To be clear, for United Airlines.
For United, yes, that's a cool distinction.
There's a whole nother world here in Newark, but I'm very proud to be leading our United team. 15,000 employees that call Newark home. So thank you for the invitation. I'm looking forward to today's conversation.
Awesome.
I know we have an actual list of questions, but 15,000, is that including crew who consider that their home base?
Absolutely, yeah. So 15,000 employees, including our crew members, but of course, can be anything from our mechanics that keep the planes safe for us, our customer service representatives, leadership positions, the folks that load bags, move planes. It's an incredibly complex operation, and 15,000 United employees keep it running smoothly and safely every day.
So just out of curiosity, how big was it when you left 10 years ago?
It was probably a little bit smaller. I think we were around 12,000 when I left 10 years ago. But really, this station continues to grow. I'm sure we'll get into it, but there's a lot of complexity here. There's a cap in the number of flights that we can operate each day. So the way that United is growing and giving customers more options is upgauging flights. So you see a lot bigger airplanes here than you did 10 years ago. It's a very different landscape with the type of airplanes that we're operating out of Newark.
I guess for our listeners, can you explain what a station manager is and what they do? Like what your role is at United and what that role does?
Sure. First of all, I'm the number one person that gets to feel pride and support for the incredible employees that do this work. Rain, shine, snow. Last winter, over 30 inches of snow during one event, the worst winter we've had in 31 years. So those employees really do a great job keeping our customers safe and getting them moving on time to their destinations all across the globe. And my job is to make sure to support them, make sure we get things out of their way so they can be successful in doing their job, and really supporting all aspects of United's operation here, starting with the most important thing, safety for our customers and employees. After that, my priorities really focus on providing exceptional customer service to our guests and also getting people where they need to go on time. Because one of the biggest drivers of customer satisfaction for our customers is getting them to their destination at the time we said we were going to, so they can go forward and do whatever plans they're doing, whether it's a work trip, whether it's a family vacation that they've been thinking about for a long time, or whether it's meeting relatives or friends, anything that customers trying to do. It really is important that we do whatever we can. Sometimes things go wrong, uncontrollable things happen like the weather, but wherever we can, we want to control getting our customers to their destinations on time.
So, I mean, in light of that, you guys have made quite the turnaround the last year, right? Last year, Newark was anything but great, and now it's leading. How did you guys achieve that?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of factors here. We got really good support and partnership from the FAA and the DOT. Secretary Duffy specifically helped us put caps in place for the number of arrivals and departures each hour that Newark can handle as an airport. That's really important because we were trying to put too many airplanes as an air traffic control system into Newark than it can handle. And I'm sure your listeners are familiar. We have pretty limited infrastructure here at Newark in terms of runway capability. And just because of our situation, our geographic situation, there really is no way to add extra runways where we are here at Newark, like some other airports have been lucky enough to be able to do. Here at Newark, we can't do that. So when Secretary Duffy stepped in and added caps to the number of flights that airlines could operate, we've seen real significant improvement in our operating performance, which is good for customers, good for employees, good for everyone involved in the airport infrastructure here and the community. We've also worked really hard with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. They're great partners. They're helping us run the airport much better and really supporting getting customers moving. And then we just talked about it a little bit ago, the United employees here have been laser focused on operational improvements to the point where now United is, and Newark is the most on-time airport of all the New York City major airports. And that's great for our customers to be able to get where they want to be.
Yeah, it's been quite the turnaround, I got to say, as a passenger who flies in and out of Newark regularly.
Well, thanks for spending time with us.
Of course.
What does your day look like an average day? And is there such a thing as an average day?
I don't think there's such a thing as an average day. The weather, we talked about it a little bit earlier, the weather significantly impacts how our operation is going to go that day. And in the summer, here in this part of the country, as you know, we see a significant amount of thunderstorms in the afternoons and evenings during the summer months. And in the winter, of course, snow is one of the elements that we're contending with. And while we always are going to operate safely, the complexity that the weather brings to our operation does mean that we have to pivot really quickly and adjust what we're doing to make sure that we can support our customers regardless of the weather conditions that are out there. So I wouldn't say there's a similar type of day. What really gives me joy and pleasure is spending time with our employees and customers. So I make a point every single day to take piece of the operation, and I can't do it all. It's a big airport, but a piece of the operation, and I rotate around those each week to make sure that I'm spending time with our team in every different part of the operation. That's important for me because I hear firsthand from our customers and employees maybe what a pain point is that I didn't even know about. And that's good because it helps me identify the things that we can work on and get better. Then whatever's going on with the weather, I spend a lot of time partnering with our colleagues at the Port Authority, other regulatory agencies that oversee aviation and Newark, and of course, our elected officials too, because they are important. This is a community that we love to serve, and we want to make sure that we are supporting it both here at the airport, but also out in the communities we serve too. So we do try and spend a lot of time with our community partners and making sure that we're supporting things that are important in our local area, as well as what's happening right here at Newark.
The numbers definitely have improved. Things are good, 80% of the time, let's say, instead of 70 or 60 or however bad it got at one point. When things go pear-shaped, and those are the great days, right? You get to walk around and just smile and talk to people who are probably having a good day. When things go pear-shaped, though, and, if you wander down to the terminal, spaces are filled, people are frustrated, all those things. What's your focus there in terms of dealing with people or operations or everything to sort of, make it better? What can you do to help make things better, even though you're just one man stuck in this huge mess?
Sure. Well, I don't feel like it's stuck in the mess. I actually think it's an opportunity for me to really help lead our team through whatever challenge we're facing at that moment, whether it's caused by weather, some type of weather event that's slowing things down at the airport. Our number one priority, of course, has got to be safety. And if it's not safe for us to launch flights, then we just simply won't. And our pilots are very skilled and well trained. And if it's not safe to land here in Newark, they will, after a little bit of holding, they'll divert to another airport and wait for whatever that weather system is to pass. But I will tell you, in answer to your question, when things are going tough, whether it be a weather-related event or anything else, it's actually even more important for me to be present, visible, out with the team, leading from the front and making sure that everyone has the tools they need for us to be able to take care of customers and get them moving and on their way again. So those times, it's even more critical that our whole leadership team is focused on our customers and employees and providing the support we need for everyone during that event. We'll also say that communication is critically important, both for our employees, but also for our customers too. Because when we communicate and share what's going on, it really helps people to understand. Just one example, we've just recently added in the app, which is now in English, but also fully in Spanish throughout the app, which is great for our customers. More languages coming. But in the app, we've added weather maps to show the radar of where the weather system is and how it might be impacting their journey. Because sometimes you can look outside the window here at Newark and the sun's shining, but the route that you're taking to your destination is jammed up with thunderstorms or lightning. And in that case, it's really good for customers to be able to see that visual, for us to be able to explain what's going on and provide really clear messaging. We have a tool called Every Flight Has a Story, and that tool enables us to tell customers clearly in plain English what's going on with their flight. If it's delayed for a specific reason, we're going to share that with customers, because what I've found is when we do that and we're transparent, it's much easier for customers to accept what we're saying, and also to handle whether there might be a delay or not, to be able to handle that better and make plans for themselves at the other end too, if we do that.
And John, that attitude of, when it gets bad is when you really want to be on the floor is really what landed you in the promotional video for One Good Leads the Way. Is that not?
Wow, you went there. You brought that video up.
You think I was gonna let that one go?
You're going to let that one go. To me, that, and for those people who haven't seen it, please don't go out and find it. I'm happy not for it to come out again. But our mission and our focus from me to every other person on this team should be that the customers are at the center of everything we do. And when things are tough, when there's a thunderstorm, when there's a snowstorm, whatever type of weather events going on, we have to be present, we have to be visible, and we have to provide support. And that was just one example where we're able to do that because it matters. That customer was getting home to her 4-year-old son's graduation, and he really wanted her there. As I'm sure most of your listeners can understand, that matters to people, and customers are traveling for unique and special reasons every single day. In fact, here at Newark, just on United, 55,000 customers pass through these doors or connect here at Newark, and they're all going for some reason. And those reasons matter, and we have to respect and honor those. And when things go wrong, we have to do everything we can to get that trip back on track for them.
Speaking about like bad weather or just like the delays that happen, I mean, New York City in general is very tight on airspace, right? So I think one of the things that's always hard to communicate is, hey, this window out of Newark to the west or to the north is closed for weather that may be 90 miles away that you can't see, but we can't use that route. And that's a hard message to convey to passengers that are waiting to get on a plane or are sitting on a plane. How do you keep folks informed, and what's the message you give to the pilots and the gate agents and things to really say, look, this is how we bring the temperature down in the room and communicate what's going on? Is it clarity, or what's the message you give to folks?
Yeah, I think clarity is important. The weather maps that we talked about really help customers understand. New York City is probably, in my opinion, the most energized and exciting place anywhere on the planet, apart from my hometown of London in England. But apart from that, it's just an incredible place. But what goes with that is it's also the most complex airspace anywhere on the planet. And that can make it challenging. So you're right, when we have a route or a fix out of the airport that's not open, it might not be for weather, which is directly above us here at Newark. It can be somewhere along the route that flight has to take. Sometimes we're able to get reroutes around that weather, and sometimes we need to wait it out. So one of the things that's been most successful, and I'm hoping that your listeners have really started to see this over the last few years, is when a pilot comes out of the flight deck and briefs customers, whether that be in the cabin or up in the gate. When that pilot comes up and briefs customers on what's going on, it really helps because it shares the message. They translate it into something that is not just the pilot speak, but all of us can follow and understand and see what's happening with the weather and how long we expect that to be. I think that is making a big difference, and we're starting to see that happen a lot at United, thanks to the work of our very professional pilots. But the gate agents also have a great mission here and a great job to keep customers updated. Between those updates that you're getting in the app, the weather maps, we also have screens at the gate that share the same information and the same weather maps with customers. So wherever you are, you're going to receive that information as real time as we can get it. And of course, sometimes things change and we think that the weather will pass by a certain time, and it doesn't. And it takes us a little bit longer. So to your point, what's very critical in that situation is that we keep the communication flowing and we make sure the customers know what's going on. So the worst thing we can do is just not share information, and that makes people very anxious and unsettled. And our job is to make sure that we pass that along just as real time as we can. So when we find something out from our air traffic services team, we're going to pass that through to our customer service team who are taking care of the customers. And of course, our flight ops and in-flight teams, so they know what's going on too.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think United has led, I think, from a technological standpoint, the ability to see in the app on the overhead screens, kind of this, it's a singular view, I would say, for a long time. And the other airlines are finally catching on that that's actually a good thing to inform customers through all the mediums that you have available to you. So, Seth, did you have another question?
Yeah, I was sort of going to follow up on that a little bit. I mean, and this is probably not something you deal with directly at the airport in the station, but like there's so much data and there's so many different sources and all of that stuff. And you've got guys like me sitting there with Flight Radar or something else telling you you're lying, right? So like, obviously that's very challenging, but how do you deal with jerks like me?
I don't know how to answer that question, but and I wouldn't characterize you that way. But there's a lot of data out there. So the fidelity and accuracy of the data that we're sharing with our customers is critically important. We are probably using a bunch of the same resources that our customers now have access to in their hands in a way that maybe 15 or 20 years ago they just wouldn't have. So accuracy is so critical now because we have to be a credible source for our customers. So there are times where you may see something on an app, an unrelated app, before we announce it to our customers. And that might just be because we're in a fast moving environment. For the most part though, we are getting the best information and translating it to customers in the best way we can. I'll just give you an example, which has just made a big difference here at United, and it's just a simple technology fix. We now share details with our customers of how busy every United Club is. So for those people that are United Club members who like using our clubs, before they get there and find out it's super busy, but the one over here is a little bit less busy right now, we tell them that in the app well ahead of time so that the customers can make decisions for themselves about what they want to do and where they want to go. And that's just an example of us being able to use data to help us inform customers just straightforwardly what the state of the club lounges is at that minute in terms of people participating in there. And that really helps people make better choices. So I think to your point, that data is important, and we got to make sure that we share it in a way that we can easily translate for customers.
Great. Well, thank you. So, John, you've now been at a number of different United stations. I believe you were at Denver before you came back to Newark. Which other stations have you been at, and what's your favorite?
Okay, well, that's hard to say, but of course, where I'm here, Newark is my favorite, of course. But I actually have just a real privilege of being able to work in several different locations for United. I started in London. Heathrow was the airport that I joined United at and fell in love with this industry. And then I moved to Chicago, then Cleveland, then Newark, San Francisco, Denver, and now back to Newark. So every location that I've had the honor of working in really has helped me grow, has helped me learn. And I've met people along the way who've just made my journey much richer. But in terms of favorite, that's like talking about your kids or something, which I don't think it's good. So I love different things about every single place I've been.
Fair enough. Bring back the hublet?
I do got a very soft spot for Cleveland, of course. And to just add several new nonstop flights, not flights in Cleveland. And you should have seen all the calls and emails when that happened. There's a lot of happy people there.
I think the fact that you know the reference to Hublet and you were
Of
still
course.
able to recover that with a sales pitch of new routes was perfect.
Oh, there you go.
Foz, this one you should ask the next one because I think it impacts you the most.
Oh,
Fair.
here we go.
So over the last few years, we've seen United shift a lot of the shorter routes, like upstate New York, Manchester, out of Newark to Dulles. For those of us that live in the area and use those to get up to those places, we either now have the burden of a long connection in Dulles or just opting to drive. Do we see any of those flights ever coming back?
Yeah, it's a fair question. And our network planning team, which I think is probably the best in the business at giving us routes that customers want, is constantly evaluating the markets that we pick, the seasonality, where we're operating and where we're not. So I think that is always under review by that team. We'll say the Dulles, when we are in a cap situation, as we are here in Newark, we absolutely have to make choices about which flights, especially those short haul flights that we operate into Newark, because we're capped and there are only so many available flights that we can operate each hour and each day as a result. So I would never say never. I think that team is constantly evaluating that. And we're always looking at it. Dulles is a great option for us, and it's a great hub. But I do understand that it definitely makes an impact on some of those short haul markets. I will tell you though, we've been able to launch a bunch of really exciting new international destinations out of Newark. And I know it doesn't really help with the question you're asking, but it is good for our customers. We just started Bari, Italy, Santiago de Compostela, Spain, a bunch of new ones last year too. Glasgow in Scotland is back for the first time since 2019. So we are able to add destinations that customers really want. But I hear you and I feel you, and the team is always evaluating those.
Trust me, I'd rather go to Bari than Albany.
That's what I was going to say.
I like Albany too, and we need that one. But Bari, I heard, is absolutely beautiful. I haven't been yet, but it is high on my list of places to go.
I was going to follow up on that. The idea of daytime flights, John, is, London has one. Is there anything in the future you think of? Is that an opportunity for Newark to kind of grow in those morning flights and having into Europe? Is that something y'all are looking at? And can you talk about that at all?
Sure, great question. We actually added a second London day flight already because the demand was so strong for us to do that. So you now have 2 daytime options. People seem pretty split about these daytime, nighttime Atlantic flights to Europe, but some customers absolutely love the ability to fly during the course of the day, arrive into London at 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the evening, go get a good night's sleep, and then do their meeting or their event or their family thing, whatever it is, the next day. So we give those choices to customers because the demand has absolutely been there. So we're now running 2 London flights a day in the morning, and then 5 London flights, so 7 total that operate throughout the evening, pretty much hourly through the evening. So customers just have a lot of choice, and we want to continue just giving customers the choices of things that they want. And I will say that's why I think the network planning team done a good job, because they are really evaluating what customers are searching for, what customers are asking for, where the demand is, and we're being quick enough and nimble enough to be able to add service to those destinations that customers really want. Greenland is, of course, like great example of that. The flight is doing awesome, pretty unique in terms of a destination, but it's somewhere that our customers want to go and experience just on the, opposite side of, they want to go see national parks in the US. Right now, we're seeing that really spike over the 250th birthday of this country. But we're also seeing people that want to go to Greenland or Marrakesh or a bunch of other places around the world that they can go nonstop from Newark, where they just can't do that from any other airport here in New York or on the East Coast. So just giving people choices, I think, is always the best thing to do, and following where that demand is.
All right. we're gonna wrap our regular episode up on that excellent point. But John's gonna stick around and answer a few more questions for our Patreon supporters. And so for those of you who are our supporters, stick around. If not, we did at this point, we typically tell people where to find our guests. And I guess the answer is the United.com, United app, or wandering the halls of Newark.
Come see me at Newark Airport. I'll see you around.